Hello guys, how are you all? Good evening, guys. Good evening. How are you all? Hello, guys. Hello, hello, hello. So, how you guys are doing? So, today is basically, yes, I'm also good, guys. So, today is basically the day two. So, in the day one, we have basically discussed about the pandas basic, and we have even seen the loops one, right? So, today we'll be just going to see how you can basically add loops with if and else statement, what is for loop, what is while loop, and how we can use loop with pandas. And pandas also will be going to cover today only. Pandas will be going to cover today only. And learning loop before pandas is really helpful because you will be just going to manipulate the data, and at that time you will be going to use loops, for loop and while loop, if and else condition while using the pandas. So it will be really helpful for you to know how you can use this if else loop condition in basically your pandas. So let us just do one thing. I'll be going to focus on the chat. Don't worry about it. I'll be going to focus on the chat as well. But in between, okay, majorly I'll be just going to focus on this thing. So if you don't get your answer, just wait. Don't get panic. I'll be just going to reply all of your doubts that you guys are having. Pandas is basically nothing. We'll be going to discuss it. But pandas is basically a library. Let us just say if you have some problem in your washroom today, so for sure you'll be going to call the plumber, right? Now if you want to fix something in your home furniture, so for sure you'll be going to call the carpenter, right? So these are nothing but these are the libraries only. If I want to do something in my washroom, so I'll be just going to call one library. If I have to do some work with respect to the furniture, so at that time I'll be going to call another library. So libraries are like this only in Python. Yes, this is like a easy example, so you guys will be able to relate. So this is how the libraries basically works. With respect to each and every case, you have different libraries that we'll be just going to understand today. So first, let us just start the discussion with respect to the loops only. Let me just write it over here. Okay. So these are basically your loops and all. Yes, Lone Wolf, I'll be going to teach you pandas, numpy, matplotlib, all of these things will be there. Data visualization we'll be going to cover tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be going to do all the this thing. Okay. Now, so as we know, we have let us just say we have a list. The name is fruits. Now over here I have apple, banana I basically have, and I basically have cherry. Now tell me one thing, guys. If I just call about this fruit, what do you think? What this fruit is? What is the what does it like? What do you call this thing in Python language? What is this first part, and what do you call this second part? Yesterday we have seen it, right? Yes, it is a list. Variable, right? It is a list, and your fruit is nothing but a variable. Variable is something that is going to store the data set, right? That is going to store the value. And what about these things? What is this thing? Apple, banana, and cherry. If fruit is a variable, what is apple, banana, and cherry? It is a list, right? These are your values. Absolutely right. Now if I have to iterate it, right, let us just say for fruit in fruits, do one thing, print fruit. So one by one it will be going to print each and everything, right? Now what if I only want to print this banana? Let's just say I don't want to print apple or cherry. Let us just consider one thing, one real life thing I'll be just going to tell you. Let us just say if we have this fruits, right? Now over here you can have multiple names. Right now we have only 3 names, but let us just say if we have now names that is in thousand, let us just say 50,000 names are there, maybe 1 lakh names are there. So if I just have to check whether one thing is basically there in this list or not by using loop, how I'll be able to do it? I just want to check whether banana is there or not. No, with the help of loop, I'll be going to check. Okay. And you are basically saying, so we'll be going to use a if statement over here. I'll be just going to use if. Okay. If fruit is equal to banana. Okay. Only then print fruit. All right. Over here, just see, if I'm calling this for fruit in fruits, so fruit will going to iterate one by one values inside this particular list. And over here we have send one thing, if fruit is equal to banana, then print fruit. So now it is only printing banana. Why it is not printing apple and cherry? Because it is going like this thing. We have banana. First it will be going to compare whether is it equal to banana or not. So apple is not equal to banana. Then it will going to check banana is equal to banana or not. Then it will be going to check yes, it is equal. Only at that time it will be going to print your fruit. Yeah. Or else, let us just say this is if, else we can basically write print banana is not present. So just see this. First it is saying when it has compared to apple, so it has given banana is not present. When it compared to banana, it has given banana. When it has compared this banana with cherry, it is saying banana is not present. Fruit is a variable only. Fruit, not fruit. Fruits is a variable. If I consider about only fruit, so over here you are just iterating values one by one. Now we have something called as break, continue, and pass statement. Are you guys aware about it? What is break, continue, and pass? Okay. So let us just say what I'll be going to do. I'll be just going to do one thing. I'll be just going to do one thing in place of this thing, that if fruit is equal to banana, print fruit and break it. Let's just see what output we'll be going to get. Okay, so now it is basically giving banana only. Let us just add else statement also, else print fruit. So if I just copy this code and paste it over here and remove the break one and I execute it again. So right now it is basically printing apple, banana and cherry. But over here, why it has only printed apple and banana? Because what we have did is we have added a statement over here that if the value will going to be value will equal to banana, at that time break it. That means for sure it will be not going to waste a time while iterating this cherry value. Okay. So this is basically your break statement. But what if I basically have other thing also? Let us just say one thing is also there. Or let us just copy this thing and print it over here. And in place of break, I'll be just going to add continue. And when I'll be going to run it, So you will be able to see one thing over here. uh, just 1 second. Yeah, just see. If over here I'll be just going to print this thing. So just see now why it is printing apple and cherry, because this continue that we have added over here. Yes, and our money, you are right. If we found a value, then we have to come out of a loop. That's why we use break. Now, so continue is basically what it is doing. It is just skipping it. All right. It is just skipping it and it is just moving forward. If it is equal to banana, it will simply going to skip it. All right. Now, this is basically a for loop. Then after this thing, we basically have while loop. While loop we basically have. Okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just 1 second. Really sorry. Yeah, guys. So okay. So over here, what we are like basically doing. After that, we basically have a while loop. Now we'll be simply going to understand how this while loop is basically going to work. So let us say if I have I is equal to, what is the difference between for loop and while loop? In a while loop, you basically have to add a statement that till what point you basically want to run that particular while loop. Okay. All right. Now, so over here we basically have to give a statement. Let us just say this one. So over here, what we have mentioned, I is equal to 1, print, like we have mentioned, while I is less than 6, print I. And over here, we are incrementing the value of it. So let's just execute it. So till 6, it has printed it. Let us just say if I'll be going to comment this thing out. So it will going to run unless and until I'll be just going to add one statement over here. It will just going to just see this many value it has printed. So what we are doing over here, this is really an important thing, that first we have mentioned I is equal to 1. Then we are like checking while I is less than 6. So initially the value is 1. So obviously it is less. So we'll be going to print I. And over here we are incrementing the value of I plus is equal to 1. Then in the next time it will going to be 2. Then again it will going to check that whether I is less than 6 or not. So obviously 2 is less than 6. So it will going to print that particular I. Okay. Now let us just say if I want like more clarification, I, okay, new value of I. So just initially it was 1. When we have incremented it, so over here we are printing it. So new value is 2. Then it is 2. Now new value is 3. So like one by one we are incrementing it. So when the new value of I was 6, my value has stopped working. All right. Now tell me one thing, guys. I want to stop this while loop when my I will become 3. So what do you think? How I'll be going to do it? Okay, so you guys are saying while I is equal to 3 break. Some are saying I is equal to 3. Okay, so let us just try this thing also. So I'll be just going to mention if I is equal to 3 break. Okay, so just see, when I value become 3, even like before this condition, this was my main condition, but I have added one more condition over here. So from this condition it break the loop. All right, what if I don't want to print 3? I'm printing new value of I is equal to this, right? What if I don't want to print this one? Now if I just run it, it will be going to print new value of I 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you guys are saying that I should use continue, right? So just see, now it is not printing the new value is basically 3 or not. All right. Now tell me one thing, guys. Are you aware about pass also? Pass, like break, continue, and pass. Okay. So similarly, like we have continue, we will be even going to use pass. Now it is basically printing this one. So pass basically do nothing. Continue we use with the help of loops if we want to skip this thing, right? But pass is like it will be just going to simply going to pass the particular value. All right. We use it as a placeholder only for, I can basically say, future code, that over here you can write your code in future. So in this case we'll be going to use pass, otherwise we'll be going to use continue. Bindushri, this is basically not a software, this is Google Colab. You just basically have to write Google Colab on Google and you'll be easily able to see this Jupyter notebook over here. Okay, I have already explained you guys when you can use which one. Okay, now let us just say I have this same list. Let us just say I have the same list and let us just add some more. Mango is basically there, right? Now I want to do one thing. Basically, let's just say I am not aware about this list, what kind of a data it has, but I just want to check one particular value inside it. I basically want to check one thing, that if mango is there, I want to create a new list with respect to it. I want to check that if mango is present, then just mention it in a new list. So how I'll be able to do it? Okay, just see what we'll be going to do. For I, let's just create a new list. new fruits. This fruit I'll be just going to do if now tell me guys, if I'll be just going to print this new fruit, will it going to print apple, banana, cherry, mango all, or it will be just going to print this mango? What do you think guys? Mango all, mango only. Okay, it has only appended mango in it. Why? Because we are adding something in a list inside a condition. Now tell me, this is like a loop. Now tell me one thing guys, how many of you are aware about list comprehension? How many of you are aware about list comprehension? What is list comprehension? What is the difference between, if you guys know it, then just tell me what is the difference between normal loop and a list comprehension. List comprehension is basically nothing. It is again, we are going to write a loop, but in a different way. Let us just see this thing. If I have this fruit, so what I'll be simply going to do, x, or let us just say, let us just store it in a new this thing, new list. So I'll be simply going to write fruit for fruit in fruits if mango is equal to fruit. All right. So over here we have mentioned, first we are telling fruit. Now we are telling it fruit. What is fruit? Fruit is for fruit in fruits. If mango is equal to fruit, then this variable will contain that particular value. That is going to be mango. Yes, lambda we can even use, but right now we are just understanding list comprehension. Okay. Now, let's just say, guys, let me just tell me one thing. If this is basically the list, now I want that you will be able to see apple, banana, cherry, mango is basically there. Now I want to convert these things in a capital format. Like apple is like there, so apple like this. Same with banana, cherry, and mango. So how I'll be able to do it? Using a loop. But how we can do it inside a loop? Just see, these are the inbuilt function, nothing else. Just see, for, I can basically simply write over here, for fruit and fruits, fruit dot upper just see all of these things in a uppercase now. So these are nothing but these are the inbuilt function. Like with list, We have append, we have extend. Similarly in string. But just tell me one thing, guys. This is the list, and this upper function is with respect to the string. So what do you think? Why it has worked? It should have given me an error, right? Just see, if I'll be just going to mention fruits dot upper, it is giving me an error. List object has no attribute upper. Tell me why it is basically not giving me error over here. If list doesn't have an attribute called upper, why it is this code is not giving me an error? Just 1 second. No, guys, no. Can anyone tell me why over here it is not giving me an error? Over here, if I'm doing dot upper, it is giving me list attribute has list object has no attribute upper. But over here, I'm also running it in a list only, right? Why it is not giving me an error? Sorry, sorry. Guys, no. Just see one thing, guys. If I just print this fruit type of it, it is printing a string. When because inside a list we have different strings. If you are calling it like this in a loop, the value will be in a string only. That's why. Yes, right. Okay. Now, let us just say I have basically a dictionary. Okay. I basically have a dictionary, dict1, which have like again same things. Satyam. The job role is ML engineer. Let's just say Harshad is basically there. He is in like sales. Then let's just say some else is basically there. Rahul is there, who is basically HR. And let's just say one more thing. Tanya is basically there. She is basically a software engineer. Now, with respect to the values, I want to print the with respect to the keys, I want to print the values also. So how I can basically iterate both of these things, value and this one? How we can iterate both things, key and value over here in a loop? Yes, lone wolf, right. That is going to be dict dot items. So if I'll be just going to do dict one dot items, it will going to give me like this. But how we can do it in a loop? Over here we have two values, so we do for key comma value in dict dot items. Now if I print key, that this is going to be your key comma key, and this is going to be your value. So just see this. And after iterating one particular value, we'll be just going to add a space. in a next line. So this Satyam value is ML, Harshit value is sales, Rahul value is HR, Tanya value is software engineer. All right. Now tell me one thing, guys. One last question with respect to the loop. Let's just say I have key that is going to be one, two, or I can basically say A, like this. Now this is my key and this is my value. Tell me how I can convert it into a dictionary. Okay, just see nothing, guys. With respect to dictionary, it is an inbuilt function items. So whenever you will be going to call for key, whenever you are calling items, so at that time you have to call key and value. Key will be this thing. This is the dictionary format in Python. That key will be this one, and after this sign, this will be your value. So over here we have did for key comma value in dict1 dot items print key and value. Now tell me, if I have these two variables, that is key and value, I want to convert it into a dictionary, how I'll be able to do it? Okay. So what we can do, like this thing I have shown you over here. Similarly, we have this one also, dictionary comprehension. So we'll be going to do it with that. That is going to be key comma value. And over here we'll be just going to write for k comma v in zip key comma value. So it will going to print a and the value is 1. Now what is this zip? Whenever you will be going to call zip, it will like consider the index and the value. Like this also we can do. MD Yashe, you are right. Zip is basically, again, just see if I'll be going to do this thing. So you have to call it like for I comma j in print I comma j. If you have one more thing, let us just say v1, that is going to be something else, 9 comma 8 comma 7. So you can add this thing also over here, like this. So zip basically one by one it iterate to all the values that you have passed to it. That is the advantage of using zip. Got it, guys? Got it, guys? Now what is zip? Any question till now, guys? Zip is basically nothing, guys. Just see. Okay. If I have these key values and value, so I'll be going to do for I comma j in zip key comma value print. Now I, what this I and j will do, first I will iterate to one value, then one value, then one value. Similarly j. Just see, like this. So first it has printed first value of keys, and first value of values. So that is the same thing that we have A and 1, B and 2, and C and 3. So one by one it has printed it like this. If you want to add more values, let us just say V1. So you have to add one more thing, that is going to be K, and you will be going to call this one. So it will print all, like at the first iteration it has printed all first values in all of these lists. But what if you have it like this? Okay, it will not going to print this one. But what if you have only two over here? So it will be going to print till the minimum length of the list. If you have passed it three lists and one is having the length of 2, it will only print that one. Okay. Now, tell me, if you are in a data science and if you want a demo data set, with the help of that you can work. So what do you think? How you can get the data set? From where you will be going to get the data set? Just give me 1 second. Is my voice not audible, guys? Hello? Yeah, Kaggle we can use, guys. If you are working in a data science, for sure you can use Kaggle. So for that, what you have to do? You just have to write Kaggle, and you'll be able to see this side, that is Kaggle. So over here you will be going to get each and every data set for your practice. Okay, I think this is not my screen is not shared, right? Sorry, 1 second. This one, you just have to write Kaggle, and you'll be able to see this one. Just click on this one, and you will going to land up over here. Now you will be able to see, like, there are multiple things on this side. The screen is not still visible. Sorry guys, sorry. Just 1 second. Let me just share it again. I think there is some. I think I have shared the screen. Okay. Okay, it is good now, right? You just have to write Kaggle. Really sorry for this thing. Yeah. You just have to. Yeah. You just have to write Kaggle, and you'll be able to see this side. Click on this side. You'll be able to see all of these things. Now there are multiple things. What you have to focus on right now, you basically have to focus on this data set. Click on this data set, and you'll be able to get multiple data set, like restaurant tip data set. Okay, so let's just do one thing. Let's just click on this three dot, and let's just click on this download. All right, now we have downloaded it, and let's just get back to this Google Colab. So over here you will be able to see these these side functions. Just see this thing. So you have to click on this folder one, and click on this upload one. So it will just going to redirect you to the dataset that you have downloaded. So you'll be able to see this is the dataset that we have downloaded, that is basically in a zip format. Okay, this is Kaggle. This is okay. This is basically your hugging face. Okay. Now, over here, what we'll be going to do, just see, this is in zip format. But for unzipping it, there is a code in Python like this sign, and just write unzip. And over here, you'll be able to see, if you'll be going to hover your mouse over here, you'll be able to see these three dots. Click on this three dot, click on copy path, and close this one, and just mention the path of your zip file. Now you'll be able to see, if I just open this one, this is my CSV or the data set. So just copy this one, and let's just start with pandas. So pandas is basically a library, guys. If you don't, pandas is, I have explained 2 3 times about the zip. Okay, you can watch the recording. So for installing pandas, for installing any kind of a library in Python, you just have to do this thing: pip install pandas. If you'll be not going to use this sign, even at that time it will be going to install for you. Okay, if I just run it again. Okay, so this is the library that we have installed for now. Pandas we use with respect to CSV only. Now I'll be just going to do import pandas as PD. Now what is this as PD? This is nothing but a nickname that we are giving. If I want, I can just give my name also, Satyam. Okay, so pandas is basically nothing. Pandas is basically a library, but we are importing it as PD just for the short form. So we are just giving it a nickname PD. Now you'll be able to see the CSV. If I just click on this 2 times, there is a window that it will be going to open over here in the Google Colab. This is how it will look like. Now if I have to check something, if I have to work with the value, for sure first I have to read it. So how do we read CSV in pandas, guys? Can anyone tell me this thing? How do we read CSV in pandas? Okay, so pd dot read underscore CSV and the path of the file, and just execute it. So over here you will be able to see that this is basically your data set. Now let's just store it in a variable. Let's just say data frame. So whenever I'll be going to call a data frame, so in this data frame variable, I have stored the CSV values. So over here it is telling me the CSV have 2 to 4 rows and 7 columns. All right. Now let us just say I was having this dictionary, right? Let us just say if this value is getting repeated 2 times, Satyam and position is ML. So just tell me, this is a duplicate data. So what do you think? Is it a good thing or bad thing? Should we keep a duplicate data or should we not keep duplicate data? Bad. Yes. This is really a bad thing if you are working with machine learning or data science. We should always drop or we should always remove duplicate data. Can anyone tell me how I can remove duplicate data from this data frame, from this CSV? So there is a function with respect to pandas, which is data frame is there. in a variable where I have stored this thing, my CSV value. So drop duplicates. Now it is showing me 243 and previously it was showing me 244. That means there was one record which was having a duplicate data. All right. Now let us just say, now if I'll be going to call data frame, it is again showing me 2 to 4 rows. But when I have did dot drop duplicate, it was showing me 243. Why this value is not being stored over here? We have dropped the duplicate data, but why it is not showing me over here? Can anyone tell me this thing? Because we haven't stored it in a variable. Let us just say if I'll be going to store in the same variable data frame, now I'll be going to execute it. So now it is showing me 243. But is there anything else that we can use? Let's just read it again. Without like assigning the same variable, can we like do it? So yes, we can do it. How we can do it? There is something called as in place is equal to true. Now it will not going to show you, the output over here. Like we was after each and every execution, we was able to see the output. But when I'll be going to call this data frame now, it will going to show me 243. Okay. Yes. Any kind of a confusion till now, guys? Some small functions, let us just even discuss. If I'm calling this data frame right now, it is giving me starting 5 rows and end 5 rows. So if you want, you can do data frame dot head. If you'll be going to do dot head, it will going to show you the starting 5 rows. If you'll be going to do dot tail, it will going to show you the end 5 rows. But if you just want to look into starting 3 rows, so just do one thing, data set dot head and just mention 3 inside it, or any value that you are looking for. Let's just say 10. So starting 10 rows, it will going to show you. Pandas read CSV, TXT file, JSON file also. It basically read, it directly convert JSON into CSV also. Excel file is basically also read. In place is basically nothing. In place we have mentioned, that means all the changes that drop duplicate will going to do, that should be permanent. That should be permanent. All right. Yes, HTML also, but when you have a table in HTML format in some kind of a site, at that time it will going to read it. So these are also dot head, dot tail, dot head. These are the basically some small functions that we have with respect to pandas. All right. Any kind of a confusion till now, guys? Minking tube. If you want to show all this from 1 to 2 to 4, you should see it manually, because in pandas we basically don't see it like this. We just see the particular some rows that we are interested in. Okay, now just see one thing. So what we'll be going to do, let us just say right now it is having 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 columns, but I am only interested in these columns. So if you want to filter out columns, you just have to mention one square bracket and just mention that particular column. Let us just say total bill. So it will going to show you that total bill values over here. But what if I want to see tip also? So why it is giving me an error? Because if you are going to mention more than one column, you have to mention double square brackets. Now you can mention any number of this thing, any number of columns. So over here you are just filtering out the columns. Let's just say till smoker I basically want. Till smoker. Now I want to know one thing. Let's just say total bill is there. So I want to calculate the average bill. What is the average bill? Let us just say you have a restaurant. Yes, I'll be going to send you this notebook link. Don't worry. Let's just say if you guys have a restaurant and daily like 100 customers are basically coming in your restaurant. Some is basically giving 500, some is basically giving 1000, some is basically giving 2000. So you basically want to find out what is the average bill of a customer, right? So that if you basically want to calculate, so what you can do, total bill is there, call that particular thing data frame total bill and just call dot mean. So the average bill is 19.81. And let's just see same with the tip, that what is the average tip that your restaurant will basically get. So tip, the average tip is $3 you can consider. So if you are working, if you are serving in a restaurant, so for sure average tip that you'll be going to receive, that is going to be 3. All right. This is what you can basically do over here. Now, let us just say if something is basically there, if you basically want to find out uh, what is the total bid with respect to the sex. Let us just say what was the total amount that female has paid and what was the total amount that male has paid. This is the analysis, because you are in data science. You should be able to extract the insights from a data set. So how you will be able to do it? Just see data frame dot, there is one thing called as group by, and you'll be just simply going to do, let's just say sacks and total bill dot I can basically say mean. Let's just calculate the average. So just see, this is the amount of female, the average. If females are basically coming in your restaurant, this is the average amount that they will spend. Then if males are basically coming in your restaurant, this is the average amount that they will spend. So this is basically what, guys, this is the insight that you have just extracted from a data set. Now this insight you can basically show to your client. This insight you can basically show to your manager, that this is the insight from the data set. Okay, as a data scientist you have to work on these things only. Yes, I will turn it off, don't worry. Okay, are you able to understand, guys, what I'm trying to say over here? Okay, guys, so I can basically say this is it for today's session. Rest of the thing we'll be going to discuss in tomorrow's session. Now till now, you guys, do you guys have any kind of a doubt? I'll be just going to share this notebook link with all of you also. So in the one comment, you'll be easily able to find it. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is it for today's session. Yesterday notes I have even added. Just look at today, so you'll be able to get it. All right, guys. So this is it for today's session. Then bye each and everyone, and good night, guys. Tomorrow we'll be going to cover rest of the thing. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Take care. Good night, each and everyone. Bye, guys.